A hackathon is a weekend-long invention competition. Students show up on a Friday or Saturday, dream up a crazy idea like a website, a mobile app, or a robot, and then bring it to life over the course of a weekend and share it with their peers.
From Germany and Spain here that I was talking to earlier, like people coming all over the world to come to these things.
We support tens of thousands of students at hundreds of universities to help them learn, build, and share brand new technology creations with the world.
It's like you always have these ideas and you know there's so much you can do, but until you come to hackathon you don't realize you can actually do it.
For me, the most inspiring part is, like the fact that sponsors are sending like the engineers to come here and talk to us, and we can learn so much from them.
We always look out for the new talent, new entrepreneurs to build new businesses so that we can really help them in that.
Hackers who attend MLH events are not the type of hackers that you hear about on the news. They're not breaking into banks or stealing your credit card. These are people who love the process of creating technology.
The energy and the passion that they have, I think we all need to pitch in and give them a wonderful experience.
Like just the amount of people that I've met through hackathons, the amount of like super cool friends I've met that are also passionate about building stuff, about just like making things and being creative.
This is my first one, jumping in deep into the pool, so yeah, I'm excited.
You come in and like oftentimes you don't know what you're doing, right? And it's just the ability to learn on the spot, to meet people who can teach you, to figure out a way of solving a problem.
Don't feel pressured to have to create something. Just go for it, because the experience in itself is definitely worth it.
Going to your first ever hackathon can be a bit daunting, especially right now when the world is just a bit strange. Well, we went and asked some of our top community members what they've learned about digital hacking in the last 8 months, and this is what they said.
Hi everyone!
What's up everyone?
Hey newbie hacker.
Hi. Hey.
Hi hackers.
Hello guys. I'm Carmen and I'm currently a HackApp coordinator at NW+.
I'm Ravis Ghosh and I'm a hacker and mentor.
I'm Kyle and I'm a hacker in California.
My name is Johnny, one of the co-chairs for Are You Hacksmith 21.
I'm Nathan Dimmer, an MLH Top 50 hacker and hackathon mentor.
I'm Shubham Patel, a hacker, a mentor from India.
It's Surya from Major League Hacking, and here are some of my tips for first-time hackers.
Figure out what makes your idea cool at the very beginning of a hackathon, and focus on the features you need to bring your idea into reality.
Use those interests to your advantage. The more interested you are in a project, the more success it typically has.
Talk to the mentors, honestly. Just make use of that. You can even make a friend or two, maybe some connections, you never know.
Find a team to work with. That means don't be afraid to message random people in Discord. Find people that have similar interests to you.
Many people believe that you have to build the next Amazon or Facebook, but that isn't the case. If you're unsure on what to make, then I suggest building something related to one of your interests or hobbies.
There are resources that you can use if you're experiencing problems with your code or if you have technical difficulties.
Remember to get some sleep and just stay healthy, like get a carrot or something.
Attend the opening ceremony and prize categories are announced.
Try to interact with the community as much as possible.
Make sure that you are mindful of the time zone differences so you don't accidentally miss your project deadline.
Give yourself plenty of time to make your demo video. It's where you get to show off all of your amazing work from the hackathon.
Make sure that you sign up and go to anything that you are interested in, because you never know what you might find interesting and you'll learn a lot.
At the end of the day, the main goal is to have fun. Don't get too sucked into your project. There are a bunch of mini events and workshops that you can attend as well.
And this is all from me. Thank you so much for listening and stay safe. Bye now!
Not signed up for your first digital hackathon yet? Just head over to MLH.io for all of the hackathons you can go to. Rhyming's hard, but hacking doesn't have to be.
Hey friends, I'm getting a bit of deja vu right now. You can't hear me, but you will be able to as soon as I remember to press this button. Hello! How are you all doing? It's great to see you all again. I'm getting a bit of deja vu right now. It's almost like I was here earlier today, like an hour ago, but it's good to be back. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you had a great time over at Chris's workshop. You will be very happy to hear that we have fixed... Wait, there's an echo? Is there actually an echo? Are you trolling me, Silver Arrow? I spent a while and the echo should be fixed. There's no way. You are such a troll. I love you all, but you are such trolls. You're my favorite trolls. But oh my god, you are such trolls. I'm back. Hopefully you don't have any echo. If you do, just shout at me in chat. Do my teeth match Blahaja's? I guess. Today I'm going to be building a New Year's resolution app, as you can probably guess by the text, which is currently right there. Now, what is my New Year's resolution, you may ask? Well, if you look at my desktop background, if I go and show you that real quick, it might give you a pretty big hint. This is my desktop background. So, believe it or not, my New Year's resolution is to troll Ryan Swift as much as I possibly can. Because it's 2021, Ryan's had a nice, easy 2020, and you know what? We're gonna make it so he doesn't get a nice, easy 2021. We love Ryan Swift, but you know, to be honest, love trolling Ryan Swift even more. And for anyone who is interested in hearing about what caused the technical issues for the echo earlier, long story short, I have like an earphone in my ear so I can hear myself, and also so I can hear like other people talking to me, and also so I can kind of hear levels and stuff. Whatever gets sent out to you basically gets piped into my ear, which is really weird because it means I hear myself on like a tiny delay. I accidentally set the output for StreamYard to also be that, which means it gets looped back in. So basically StreamYard was constantly sending, which is what we use for streaming, was sending to itself and then back and then to itself and to back, which meant we got a very bad echo, which is not very fun. So that happened, but I think that's been fixed. We're going to actually do some technical stuff. We're going to be building a New Year's resolution app. Now, as per everything with a local Hack Day build, the first thing we need you all to do is go and check in, and you can do so at hackme.ac/letstrollryan. That's going to stay at the bottom of your screen as well for the entire hackathon. So head over there. I'll show you me doing it just to go and set the good example, because you know I am the best example of anything in the world. If I go and head over and I show you my screen, it's pretty simple. All you do is you go head over here, you go and click register or check in if you're already logged in, and then you just go and click it again, and then you click join online event, it'll take you back here, and you're all good to go. Now, before we actually get started, if you were here last time, you may have noticed we dropped off air an hour early. And that's because my favourite person on earth, Ryan Swift, maybe messed up scheduling. I'll throw it in chat right now. I am going to really quickly double check how long we have, but I think it's a while until the next session. I think we realistically have 4 hours if we want it. We're not going for 4 hours, but I'm planning on going for about 2. And to kind of give you an idea of what to expect, my thinking is it's going to be like a glorified to-do list. It's going to be nothing fancy, but we're going to design it together. It's going to be HTML, CSS. I was thinking we could do it with React, but that feels like a very bad idea waiting to go wrong. We're going to build that, and then we're going to design it. We're going to make it look great, and then we might hook it up to some backend. We might use Flask, not using the starter kit after last time, or something like that. Just like a very simple backend which sends it to a MySQL database, just so we got like some kind of data store. It's not going to be anything super fancy or anything. It's just going to be like, you know, something nice, something fun, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. So does that sound good to you? Does that sound good to everyone in chat? Now, of course, you do not have to build, if you're submitting, the same thing as me. You can submit your New Year's resolutions or anything at all. So you might be different to me, and you might not want to just troll Ryan Swift all year, which, as much as I can kind of say, hey, you know, nah, that's what I'm going to do. So you can submit it for your challenge. It's up to you. There is not yet a Twitter tag, but can anybody think of a cool hashtag we can use for this? Should we use hashtag Let's Troll Ryan? Should we have hashtag Let's Troll Ryan for a hashtag for this? So if anything funny happens, tweet us using @MLHacks, hashtag Local Hack Day, and hashtag Let's Troll Ryan. A Discord ping probably did just go through my speakers, almost definitely. So yes, let's go and kick things off building. I'm fairly sure I'm not going to fall off there. If I do, we'll just go and cry. That sounds good to me. So first up, I'm going to go and head over to here, and I'm going to go and open VS Code, because that's going to be where, of course, we're building stuff. Now, if I was using React, I would get some nice quality of life things. The reason I'm not is the fact we are building pretty fast today, and I don't want to potentially make my life really difficult. It's going to be a single page app. It's going to be nothing fancy. So I'm going to go get rid of that check-in link, and we're going to get starting building. Now, of course, this is interactive, and I want to hear in chat what you're interested in me doing. You know, if you think of anything cool, I'm more than happy to do it. But first of all, I need to go and create a folder, which is what we're going to store things in. We could make it a Git repo, but should we make it a Git repo, friends? What do you think? Let me know in chat. Do you want me to make a Git repo, or should I just make a folder? You're welcome to go along with me if you really, really want to. Ryan. Let's call it Ryan. And then I'm going to go and do File, Open Folder. I'm using VS Code. VS Code's great. I love it. If you don't have VS Code, you're missing out. Let me know if you've suddenly got an echo. I'm going to really quickly rejig some settings because things just went wrong there. There we go. That's better. Sometimes things go wrong on my end. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It just breaks. So I'm going to open this Ryan folder. Should we do Git repo? Okay, we'll do a Git repo. We'll do this properly. So I'm going to go to github.com. And when we're there, I'm going to go and make a new project. I'm going to call it Let's Troll Ryan. I'm going to make it public, and I'm going to initialize it. I don't know if you can have a note too. I'm just setting up a Git repo. I'm going to add a get ignore just for the sake of doing it. I'm going to set up this optimization as well, which will do images for me. And we want to get ignore just HTML. Actually, we don't need a get ignore really for this because we're not really building anything. You can have a speed typing thing later. I will do it, just not yet. Okay, so this is my Git repo. I'm then gonna go and open. I use Gitkraken. I just find it a little bit easier to use than the kind of command line Git repo. But it's up to you. You can use obviously whatever you want if you're using Git. Some people like source tree, some people just use command line. Yeah, only username, that's a good point. I can do it inside VS Code, so very good point. Let me just go close this, and I'm gonna go and pull the repo we just created. If you were at the GitHub workshop that we did, you might recognize what I'm about to do. So I'm gonna go clone, I'm gonna go GitHub, and I'm gonna call it Let's Troll Ryan. And we're going to make basically a copy of this repo on my local PC. We are going to be bad people and just go and commit to master because it's easier. So that's there. Now I've done that, let me just make sure, that was my important notification sound. So let me just make sure I'm not missing anything very important. That was an email telling me I checked in. That's not important at all. So let's go and open this folder I've just created. I'm going to do File, Add Folder to Workspace. I've done basically nothing other than make a Git repo, Adam, and then cloned it. So that's all I've done. You know, we are joined by Blahaj as well today, don't worry. So don't worry, like, we're gonna get through this together. It's gonna be a little bit difficult, but we're gonna manage, like, you know, how wrong can this go? And I'm gonna use a thing called Bootstrap to go and build this. Get bootstrap.com. It's what Twitter used for its UI. We're gonna really hack this together, hackathon project style. So don't expect any beautiful code. I just basically want to build something really, really, really quick. Because I just want to show you how quickly you can build something. I have 5 Blahajas. 2 are in Canada, 3 are in the UK. Don't ask why. I did promise I would tell you the Blahaj story on Jura Blahaj, but things got quite rushed. So if you want to hear the story about Blahaj and why it became a thing, let me know in chat and I'll happily tell you. We'll do index.html. We'll go and make a copy of all of this. I'm thinking, should I run a local web server? But I don't really need it, to be honest. People are like, 5 Blahajas? Okay, tell you what, let me just get this all set up and then we'll do story time. And you know what? I'm going to pivot. I'm going to build a React app. Yeah, I'm gonna do a React app because it's just gonna be easier. We're gonna do create React app. React, if you've not used it before, is a front-end framework. It's super awesome, and it basically makes your life easier, which is why I like it. It means you can go and build kind of reusable components, but it also gives you a lot of kind of a better framework to build in, basically, than just default HTML, CSS. So we're gonna do cd repos, and it's cd Let's Troll Ryan. We're gonna do npx create React app, and then we're gonna do it in this folder, and we'll let that do that. We need to go and install that package, that is fine. We're gonna let do that. Oh, like, you're like, oh, it's your first time meeting me, and you're like, you heard my accent, and you're like, she's cool. You're way too nice. My accent's not that good. It's a bit boring, to be honest. It definitely goes more British on stream. Like, if you ever meet me in real life, there's definitely a slightly American-Canadian tang in it now, but on stream, you definitely can't hear that, and it's really, really weird. This is going to be uploaded to Twitch, it's going to be uploaded to YouTube and Facebook as well, so this is all recorded. This isn't the sort of thing where you're going to be following along in real time, if I'm entirely honest. It's just to show, like, I'm going to be building something that you can kind of see how it's built. To give you all a bit of background, I'm a senior software dev at Royal Bank of Canada over in Toronto, so that's kind of like where I'm at. I will fully say, despite the fact that is my title, I spend a lot of the time working on, like, not straight development stuff, so I'm not going to be the best web dev you've ever seen in the world, and also, you know, I'm doing this live on stream with not very long, so don't expect beautiful code, is basically what I'm saying. Oh, but you're way, way too nice. Yeah, I have 5 Blahajas. If that makes me your favorite, then hey, like, I'm not gonna say no. Ryan has 0. Don't tell Ryan this, but I have his address, and I'm genuinely considering ordering one to his house, just because it would be funny. So that is a thing. To use React to use is Node.js, so you can just go and install Node.js and then just follow the create React app instructions. Super super easy even. You need npm as well, but I think that comes packaged. You know, basically, you know, it's not too difficult. But as soon as I set this up, I'll tell you the story behind how Blahaj started. Get one Sammy from DigitalOcean 2. Sorry, no, Blahaj would be sad. Okay, so we've created this. If I do npm start, hopefully this is going to open me a nice default React app. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be sad. It's gonna open me a copy of Chrome, and at localhost 3000, we should, fingers crossed, have a default React app. There we go, bazinga! That is what I want to see. So now we have a React app, we can actually start building things, and we can really, really do cool stuff. As you can see, this is just a HTML page, basically, that gets compiled into something cool, and yeah, React is cool. I'm just trying to find the window where I have chat. I've just accidentally closed it. As you can tell, today is a great day, because that was not intentional. And I have no idea where the window's gone. I'm personally going to say Ryan stole it. Sorry, no, totally not Ryan stole it, I think, probably. Like, it's probably his fault, in my experience. You know, if something goes missing, totally not Ryan, probably has gone and hidden it. So hang tight while I try and find where I put the window. It's not my day, friends, is it? It's like, I dropped off air earlier. You know, I messed with timings. I've lost the window. There we go. I found it. I am going to see it on stream. Sorry, isn't he going to see us on stream? You think Ryan watches every single stream. Ryan does have a life, believe it or not. I know it's difficult to believe, but seriously. Will this count as a challenge as long as you submit today? Yep, totally does do. So, I've got a React app. What I'm going to now do is I'm going to go side by side and just kind of show you how this works. So I've got a ton of files here. If I go into, where is it? I think it's source and then app.js. If I edit something here and then hit save, it will update here, which means I can do cool stuff. To launch the website, I used npm start. So that's kind of what I use. Apparently you can't name a project named Troll Ryan Swift because of npm name restrictions. Do it all in lowercase. That should work. Yeah, when you highlight and comment, it does hide names. I don't quite know why. It's a really, really strange little quirk. So I'm going to use a library called React Bootstrap to build this. React Bootstrap is super great, and I love it so much. And what it does is it basically lets us use Bootstrap with React. It's almost as if that's obvious. So I'm going to go back to my terminal. I use iterm for anyone who is curious. And where did I put my terminal? It really isn't my day, is it? Or oh, I'm just using default terminal. That's fine. That's fine. So we'll open another one. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that repo. And what we're going to do is we're going to do npm. Ooh, I don't know what I did there. We're going to go and do npm install React Bootstrap using a command it gives me. I think I copied way too much there, which is not very fun. So let's go and not do that. If I just do this. Okay, let's go paste that command in. That's going to install real quick. So what is the command to automatically split screen on Mac? I use a thing called Magnet to do it. It gives me kind of window style dragging and lets me do this and stuff, which is super useful. So I can just do like boom, boom, and it's done. Obviously you can hold down on here and do it, but yeah, Magnet is what I use. It's super, super great. Adam, if you are following along in real time, you'll need React, but you can kind of just install NPM and the rest is done for you effectively. Also, apparently Amethyst also works. Yeah, Rectangle is free and open source, but like what I used was 99 cents on the App Store and it's like not that much. Okay, so we've got this build, we've gone and installed we've installed React Bootstrap, which is awesome. So just to kind of show you what I can now do, if I want a button, I can do import button, and I can also go and just say I want a button on my page, like this, with capital B, and it should make me a button. But that's very, very ugly. And one of the little quirks of this library is that it doesn't quite work in the way you think it does, in the sense it doesn't give you any actual CSS. So we're gonna have to create it ourselves. Now this uses Bootstrap 4.5. This website is currently for Bootstrap 5, so we are gonna have to downgrade real quick. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and grab the CSS CDN link, which makes our life super easy. It's somewhere here. Here it is. I'm just gonna go copy this, and I'm gonna go and plop it into index.html just at the top, which, I'll be honest, I don't know if this is necessarily the correct way of doing it, but it definitely works. So yeah, NPM is part of Node.js. It's called Node Package Manager. I'm fairly sure if you install Node.js, it'll come with it. And basically, Node Package Manager is kind of like if you've ever used Flask, it's like, if you ever use Python, it's like pip. If you ever use Ubuntu, it's kind of like apt-get, but for a programming library. It's a way of importing packages. So yeah. But I agree, the default Mac UX for like dragging windows is awful. So yes. Adam, I will quickly recap everything when I've done installing stuff, and I will tell a Blahaj story. I haven't forgotten, don't worry. I would say though, don't try following this in real time. Like, I'm gonna be going fast. Like, I'm not gonna be going really slow during this. I'm just gonna build it rather than like teaching you perfectly how to build something. So here we go, we've got this page, we've gone and, we've got some kind of text. We've managed to get our button on the page and it looks like a button. Now, I'm also going to go and install something called React Router. And what this does is it lets us build pages in a sensible way. I'm not going to build this in yet, but I will be in a bit if we get to that point. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to lay out our page. So I'm going to get rid of all this stuff that we don't really need. We've got our div, and basically React uses a thing called JSX. So any kind of HTML I put in this function is basically going to get compiled, and it means I can do cool stuff. It does mean there's a couple of differences between this and normal HTML. You see we've got class name instead of class. That's normal. It just is a bit weird with this. It's because, you'll see kind of why in a second. Basically, class is restricted and it's protected, so it can't use that. We'll be using React Router Web. Native lets you build like mobile apps, but we're not going to worry about that. But don't worry about React Router yet. We don't need it quite yet. I'm going to get rid of the default app CSS, and I'm just going to go and lay out a basic Bootstrap page just to make sure we've got stuff. So this is going to return this. At the top, I'm going to say I want a, so I'm going to say header goes here. Then I'm going to say content, and I'm going to say my footer is going to go here. And hopefully that means we're going to get free little things like this, which is awesome. I'm going to continue building this out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new it's called a component, and it lets you store a little certain kind of bit of stuff. So I'm going to say my header is going to go here. And I'm going to say, so it's errored out because I've not made the header yet. So what I'm going to do in this source folder is I'm going to make a new folder called components. And I'm going to say, I'm going to copy my current app.js. I'm going to do new folder, and I'm going to do header.js. I'm going to paste all of this in and just get rid of this button because we don't need it. I'm going to say function header returns, I'm going to go and say export default header. And I'm just going to put in this text. Just going to make it just a normal div for now because we'll go and style it in a bit. I'm just going to say this is my header. Why the capital H in header is a really, really good question. This is my new username. Has anybody seen why we use capital H's? Or can you make a guess, this is my username, on why it might be a capital H, even if that looks wrong, if you've only ever done CSS or HTML before? We do import header from, sorry, it's not, is it? Yeah, import header from /components/header. Cool. Can I quickly reopen header.js? Yep, all it is this. It's literally nothing. It's just this copy pasted. The app.js copy pasted. It's nothing fancy. Yes, so part of the reason, pretty much, it's not a HTML header, it's a component header. And to differentiate between HTML elements versus React components, that's the difference between capital as the first letter or not. Which is why, why this is showing as green in VS Code, and why this is showing as blue in VS Code, basically. It's how it can tell the difference. And so I've done that. The next thing I'm going to do is set up my footer, and I'm just going to do exactly the same thing. I'm just going to copy and paste my header. And you'll see why we do this in a second. And I'm going to say function footer. You can say this is my footer. We'll, of course, design them in a little bit. We'll go and import footer in exactly the same way, just from components. I'm going to replace this with footer. And so finally, our content is now on the page. Now this failed, can't resolve components footer, but that's because I forgot to rename it. So there we go, and that should fix it. Div tags mean they're HTML tags. Yes, so if it's in blue, it's just normal HTML. It's technically not HTML, it's technically JSX. So it's effectively, how do I explain this? JSX basically goes through this kind of big blob of machine and stuff, and it kind of goes in as JSX, and it comes out as HTML, but it kind of gets mangled in the middle. So you can do slightly different things with it than HTML. When you open this in your browser, if I open inspect element, I have no idea if you'll be able to see this, but all there actually is HTML. You can't actually see the individual components. You just see the divs and the classes and stuff from inside. If I close this, you might be able to see it. So, like that. I do have a React Chrome extension to let me see inside. But if you just, the actual browser itself, all it's doing is rendering just normal HTML. So, that's kind of where that's at. So, we've done that. We're now going to go and build in, of course, our wonderful header. And this is my troll Ryan Swiftometer. So, we're going to do a little bit of design. We're going to make this look nice. And a resource I like to use is UI gradients. UI gradients basically gives you a ton of nice looking gradients. UIgradients.com is what it is. And it's a way of making an easy to, it's designing a quick way of making your app look decent is how I describe it. And so, this is Ryan. Ryan likes blue. So we're going to find a nice looking blue gradient. And I'm thinking this very blue gradient is perfect. So I'm going to use this as the background for my header. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into header, and I'm also going to go and make a new file called header.css. When we're building with React, we kind of keep our CSS for each component separate, and it just makes it a little bit easier to kind of keep track of everything. So I'm going to do import header.css. Should work, but it didn't because I need to do, /header.css. Cool. So now, any CSS that I put in header.css is going to be shown in this component. And so what I can do is I can make a HTML header in here now. And I'm going to say this is a H1 because that's how you say this is the top of the page. And I'm going to say the Ryan Swift troll to-do list. And I'm also going to go and put an image here as well. But for now, until I've designed the image, I'm going to go and grab a placeholder image from placeholder.com. It's a super useful tool, which lets you just generate a temporary image. So I'm going to do image source, placeholder.com / blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to say, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to worry about giving it a class or anything. So right now we have nothing special. if you were looking at this website, you choose the website or you choose Blahaj, you would blatantly choose Blahaj. You know, like he is obviously where the cool stuff's at, not this website yet. So let's go and design this, let's make it look decent. So we're gonna go into header.css and I'm gonna write a little bit of CSS. I'm gonna say our header is gonna have this background color. And conveniently we can just go into this little get CSS button and it will spit out the CSS we need. So if I do this and then hit save, boom, we've got a nice background. We've got someone in YouTube chat saying, hell Blahaj, yes, hell Blahaj. I'm now also going to go and add a little bit of padding here. So I'm gonna say the padding is gonna be 2em and 1em, possibly. How does that look? Not sure, I think it needs a little bit more. We're gonna say 4em and 2e. Let's just say 4em. EMs are kind of like a 1em is the width of one character if it was a monospace character basically, which if you don't get me, don't worry, that's fine. Let's say color is gonna be EC because that's a nice easy to use gray. I'm gonna say your text align is in the center. Bazinga. Okay, next up I'm gonna go and make the image look nice. I'm gonna do header image, sorry, header image, which means an image in the header div, in the header kind of thing, which is only this. I'm gonna give it a little bit of padding on the bottom, so margin on the bottom, so there's a gap at the bottom of 1em. Oh, not top, bottom. Just went onto autopilot there. And I'm also gonna go and make it a round image, I think. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave it as that for now. And then finally, for my header H1, I want this to be in a nicer font. So I'm gonna head over to fonts.google.com and I'm gonna choose a way nice looking font on this. We're gonna try something fun, I think. Something that really reflects Ryan Swift's personality. So let me know in chat if you see any fun looking fonts. And let me know in chat actually, I'm curious, what are all of yours, what are all of your New Year's resolutions? Do any of you have any cool ones? They can be coding related, they can be like entirely unrelated from coding. They can be about anything you want. Let me know in chat, I'm really, really curious. Adam, you just got a big error. What is your big error? I'm really, just let me know. I can't guarantee I can fix it, but I can certainly try. But I will say, trying to follow along in real time, it's gonna be difficult. App is not defined. You almost definitely forgot to rename footer or header, or you accidentally renamed your app.js, or you got rid of this div, which is quite important, I think. You got quite a lot of different ones. You've got top 5% for the CCC. What is the CCC? Silver Arrow wants to learn React Native enough to make a single app before March. Well, I hope this will be useful for you. Comic Sans is great, I do agree. You want to learn React as well? Lots of people want to do cool stuff. Your resolution is 1080p. Wow, such memes. Oh, the Canadian computing competition. Amazing. I didn't grow up in Canada. I live here, but I didn't grow up here. So like, people say things and I'm like, I don't know. Oh, I think this font perfectly reflects Ryan. I think this is perfect. So we're gonna go and select this style and we're gonna include this in my app using an import. This basically lets me get this font and plop it in my CSS. So we're gonna go and throw this in here and I'm gonna say this is my font family. So now this is gonna look beautiful. See, this is perfect. This is so Ryan. And you know what? I think we need a slightly bigger gap between that image. So let me go and fix that. I'm gonna give it a 2em gap instead. That's better. Please put the font code in chat. I will give you the link and you can go and grab it from here. So if you just kind of click include a style and then just click import, it will give you everything you need. That's in Twitch chat right now. So we've got this. This is looking good. Now we have got that made. I'm gonna go and make the logo for this app. So I'm gonna go and open Photoshop. If you don't have Photoshop, don't worry, you can like use anything you want, or you can build something entirely different. Photoshop's just launching, you can't see it, but it will appear on your screen in a second. And we're gonna go and Photoshop a quick, beautiful picture here. So here's, I've got a copy of Photoshop. I'm gonna do Command N, and I'm just gonna make a just default square one is fine, I think. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my DMs of Ryan, and I'm gonna grab his profile picture. So I'm gonna plop this in here. So this is Ryan Swift, if you've never met him, he's a wonderful man. And yeah, you can also use Pixlr. Pixlr is a great tool for drawing stuff online, if you don't want Photoshop. I don't know if I want this background or not. No, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of the background. So let's do layer mask, hide selection. Oop, wrong way. Layer mask reveal selection even. Nope, hide selection. I had it right the first time. There we go. So we've now got a nice Ryan without any background image. And then we can go and throw Ryan straight into our app. So I'm gonna go and export as a PNG. The chin is glorious. I agree, the data is gone. This is so good. One of my computer specs, Photoshop opened really fast. It's an M1 MacBook. It's great. Everything is so fast for this kind of thing. I'm gonna go and save this into my public folder. I'm gonna call it ryan.png. And we're gonna bring this in. It works, I'm so glad. Hey, fun story. I actually have, my M1 is my spare MacBook. It's my new one, I guess. I have two. My old one was in for repair, and it was like, it's gonna be 3 weeks. And I'm like, I can't wait 3 weeks. So I have to buy a new one, and I'm gonna sell the old one. And it's just so annoying. It's an 8 gig memory, but 512 hard drive. So it's not even particularly, yeah. Can I imgur my logo? Yes, of course I can. I will imgur Ryan's face. Because I love you all so much. Who doesn't want a bit of Ryan in their life? Ryan Swift's like my favorite. Let's go here. I wonder like what kind of impression you get of me and Ryan, like when we're actually doing work things. It's actually not like this. Like, I remember when I first joined MLH, I was terrified of him. And now it's just like, oh, he's cool. He's not scary. He's Ryan. He's a super nice guy. We throw this in chat. If you bought a 2019 16-inch M1 in October, should you get the M1 instead? My advice, if you are not currently actively using Docker, yes. If you are, wait. The reason behind that is I have found it infinitely better for video editing, for playing Minecraft. Like, I had a 2018, I think it was, 13-inch MacBook Pro before. It was sluggish as hell as Minecraft. It is brilliant on my new one. I would really recommend it if you're interested in it. I would just say, just check compatibility, because Docker compatibility is not great right now. So yeah. As a dev, has I had any issues with Big Sur or ARM architecture? Aside from Docker, honestly, no. Like, there's a couple of things we saw like with cryptography, but to be honest, I think that's probably caused by my brew install being a bit off rather than rather than M1 itself and Big Sur. Now, I do think the fact it's having to run in Rosetta probably isn't helping, but I don't think it's the cause. But I haven't had time to debug it enough yet. Jack played Minecraft with me. Fun story, I used to be a Minecraft streamer. I was one of the biggest ones on Mixer. So that happened. If you've been editing graphics and video, and the graphics card doesn't seem to be as good as it says it is, yeah, I edit video on this quite a lot, and I obviously stream on it and all of that kind of stuff. I personally recommend it, but it does depend on if you're kind of interested. So yeah, and I only use 8 gigs RAM. What is the imgur link? The imgur link is in chat right now. Yeah, I know about that one. It was the 2018 MacBook Pro 13-inch, like default and all of that kind of stuff. Like, that was almost definitely partially caused by the fact they only had a 128 gig hard drive, to be fair, which definitely didn't help. Pixlr, Pixlr is if you need a online photo editor. Yeah, my work one I think is a 16-inch 2019 on Big Sur. Not on Big Sur, on Catalina. And that seems to work okay. So yeah. Okay, so let's go and head back to my header. And I'm gonna go and replace this with my photo of Ryan. Oh, let's do it properly. There we go. I'll do it properly in a bit. So here's Ryan. We're gonna go and make this the right size. So I'm gonna bring this down from image to, I'm gonna say height is gonna be equal, sorry, let's do width is equal to 4 EM, I think. Let's do 8 EM. I want it big enough to be able to see. 12? That'll do. We're gonna go and set the height to auto just to be safe, is what I'm doing. If your Mac's fan is wearing like crazy, yeah, mine would wear a lot on my old one. My current one is a lot better. Like, my fan barely turns on, to be honest, so yeah. See in a bit, this is my new username. I'm gonna really quickly turn my mic on and off again, just because I can hear myself in my ear, so hang tight, you won't be able to hear me for a second. Let me do... Cool, that should be fixed. That's better. Sometimes it gets a little bit off sync and it's like really, really difficult to talk. What OS would I recommend? Anything except Windows. If you are doing software dev and can live without having certain things, I just find it a lot more pleasant than dev on Windows. When I started working at RBC as a kind of intern, they gave me a MacBook and it was just like, oh, I should buy one of these. And so I did. And then my bank account hated me, but it was worth it. So I'm just gonna go and throw this here. We're gonna go and say footer.css is gonna have a background of 1A, because that's a nice easy color that works. Why did that not work? What did I do wrong? Forgot to import it, that's what I did wrong. Let's go back to footer. Let's go grab this line. Let's go throw it into footer as well. Super easy to mess things up, but it happens. And let's go and replace header with footer. I did, just to show you can, like, I would normally do it properly, but I'm doing this quickly, so yeah, you can just do it directly from Imgur. I get that reference, I don't use Temple OS. I did use Pop OS in the past, I enjoyed it. But yeah, Linux is totally fine. The import line is just import and then in quotes the path to your file for if you're doing CSS. So I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say my color of my text is gonna be 4A. That work? It's not great. Let's do 9A. It's a little bit easier to see. I'm curious. I think someone here was potentially a marketing person. Is that the case? I remember seeing someone's name on Discord, and I'm curious. Does anyone here do like marketing or design as like an actual thing? I'm gonna do text align center. That's looking decent. And then I'm gonna do padding is gonna be, let's do 2 and 4. How does that look? That looks okay. That's gonna be our footer. We'll flesh this all out a bit. You, Jenna, I'm curious. What's that like? How do you find it? I'm like really curious because it's like something I looked at and I ultimately didn't get into. Like my degree's not in CSS or in CS or anything. So it's kind of like, yeah, it was one of the paths I looked at, but I didn't end up doing it. Ryan's best friend. There we go. 2021. I need a heart emoji there as well, don't I? Let's do that. Let's have a heart emoji for Ryan, because we all love Ryan. Cool. So, this is my website so far. We're going to start building out the stuff now. You might have noticed we haven't built out any actual functionality yet. We're just kind of building a design. That's intentional. You know, it's easier to get kind of the stuff on the page first before we actually go and do it properly. Adam, if your photo doesn't work, make sure you've imported everything properly. So now I'm going to make a container. Now container is included with React Bootstrap, so you can just click this and it will import container. And what this will do is it will kind of bring the content squished a bit for us. So it basically means it will never touch the edge, even on mobile, which makes life super easy. If you're having issues with importing footer, if you are following along live, make sure you've got this import here, make sure your CSS is looking vaguely correct. Make sure as well you did import the CSS, and this is footer and this is footer. Okay, so, you know, we're gonna say, hey, my New Year's resolution is trolling Ryan, and let's lay out this page. So we've got this container, and in the container, I want it to be like some like fancy list. So let's do a H2, and it's gonna be things I need, trolls for Ryan this year. You shouldn't have a space between footer and the dot. That's probably why. So I'm gonna say trolls for Ryan this year, and I'm gonna go and how do I want to do CSS here? I'm gonna go and make a separate component. Actually, I'm gonna make a component called list. Yeah, that should be fine. And the cool thing is we can actually get rid of these. Because we're not putting content in these, we can actually make them self-closing, just like an image tag would be. Which makes life super simple, and I absolutely love. So list is not defined yet, that's because we've not made it. So let's do import list from components list, and I will just copy our footer just to make our life a bit easier, because I like things being easy. We'll rename this to list.js, and we'll say import. Replace this with list, replace this with list. I'm gonna say, just to make sure it works. We're gonna do a fragment. I'm gonna say this is a test. If you're building React, you have to wrap everything in a single thing. This is a nice little way if you don't want actual HTML to just do it. So it's a lot quicker. The dots, only the dots you don't get stars. So what I would say is, honestly, Adam, I can't really debug in real time because we obviously don't have a ton of time, but I would recommend just like checking the obvious stuff. Like make sure you've got the import, make sure stuff's in the right place in the right folder, obviously in the components folder. Just try deleting and remaking, worst case scenario. Apparently, you love it. You went from being biomedical engineering at Georgia Tech to marketing at Rutgers. That's so cool. You're thinking about starting a career in products. Yeah, I've been considering products. Like right now, my job is quite tech heavy, as you can probably tell. But products seems really interesting. And yeah, I've just kind of hacked my way through. I get that. Don't you worry. Like, yeah, I've been there. So here we go. We've got this content. Let's go and build out this. So I've got my app.js. I've got my list, and this is going to be my list. I'm going to create a H2 in here. And the reason I'm doing this is just to kind of make it all a little bit more organized. I don't technically have to. But actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new one here. I'm going to do div class equal, or class name, sorry, it's going to be list container. It's going to be our container for our list, believe it or not. And I'm just going to make a list.css. And I'm going to go make list.css exist, which is absolutely fine. I messed that up. List.css, cool. So this is list.css. We're going to have a list container, and it's going to have a. So I've got 3 dots here. This is what I tend to use in programming to make it like easy to keep track of what's where. So that's why those 3 dots are there. They're not going to be there in the long run. And I'm going to say I want to have a margin of. I'm happy for it being full width. So it's going to be like auto. No, can I do auto and then 2? Does that work? Interesting, it does. So I should be able to do 2 and auto. Wonderful. Okay, cool. So that's going to give us a little bit of a gap. And then in here, I'm going to go and create a div called list header. In fact, no, I'm going to make a H2 called list header. And I'm just going to put my trolls for Ryan in 2021. And I'm going to close out that H2. And it's going to be a H2 with the list header class. And you know what? I want this to be in another beautiful font. So let's go on here. Let's find a nice font that really fits Ryan's personality. In fact, yeah, let's do it like with like scribbles. I want a bold one as well. That's the problem. This might work, I guess. It's like slightly scribbly. Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to import these 2 styles. I'll throw this link in chat if you are watching in real time. So we're going to go and import this as our CSS here. I will like give you the absolute disclaimer, I'm not a web dev as well. So like, bear with anybody who's watching this and is like, oh my God, this is so good. Like I do web dev, but I'm not a web dev is what I would describe it as. Like I am not the best web dev you'll ever see, and I am hacking this together very quickly. So there is definitely better ways of doing some of this. When Jack goes to find fonts, it's my time to catch up. Fair. Okay, so this is my trolls for Ryan in 2021. And I want to go and also give that a font weight of 700 to make it nice and bold. That's better. Let's do font size of, is this currently 1 EM? What's it currently? No, it's definitely more than 1. Is it 2.5? 2.5 is a bit bigger. That's probably a bit better. And I'm also going to give it a nice background. So another cool thing to know about is hex color tool. Not hex color tool, sorry, is flat UI colors. Gives you a ton of easy to use colors if you're quickly hacking something together. So yeah, I use this quite a lot. There will be a recorded version, so you can do today's challenge. Good luck, have a great time. The data is gone, thanks for coming along. This is a challenge secret, so you can actually build your own and get points for it, which is pretty cool. We're gonna go and let's use the Russian palette today for this. And let's go and say, I feel like if we've got an actual designer here, we're going to be like, this is not how you should design. So let's go and make just this our header color. And we're going to say background color is this. Cool. And we're going to say padding is going to be 1EM, and the color is going to be EC. I messed that up, so let's get rid of that. Is this not updating? There we go. And we're going to give it the border radius of 4px to just make it look nice. Let's do 8. Let's make it more rounded. Ryan deserves roundedness, you know? There we go. You love the palette choice, thank you so much. Hello! It's good to see you again, stuff. Sorry for messing up your name entirely last time. What did you miss? We're building a troll Ryan to-do list, so not a ton. Just you know, seeing me kind of lay some stuff out in React and stuff. So nothing super fancy. So, we've got this, and now we're gonna have a go at making our list. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make a generic list item, and you're gonna quickly see why components are super useful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say list item. It's gonna go here, and I'm just gonna go bloop, bloop, bloop for now. And of course, list item doesn't exist yet. So we're gonna do new file, we're gonna do list item.js. While we're here, we may as well do list item.css. We'll go copy the contents of header, because it's a quick way of setting this up. Let's paste it in. We want to do list item. There's definitely a way of doing this faster, but whatever. List item, I'm gonna make this just a div class name is just list item. And then content goes here. Cool. So yeah, we're using React here, and what we are doing is we're just desperately trying to build an app. This app is gonna be what we're gonna use to troll Ryan Swift. It's my favorite thing to do. So yeah, we're gonna do import. These are gonna be messy imports. Import list item from /list item. Cool. So now we can build out our actual list. And I'm thinking the way this is gonna work is we're gonna do trying to think. Let's do a row. So this is a thing in Bootstrap where you can kind of use rows and columns. So we're going to say there's a new row. Inside there is a column, which is always, so XS is always going to be 2 wide. Bootstrap rows is basically, they're always add up to 12. So whatever you do will add up to 12, and that's how you know you've not messed up. It's going to do 2, and I'm going to do 10. I did import col, so that's awesome. So tick box is going to go here. I'm going to do item name. It's going to go here. Cool. We could probably actually down that to 1. Let's go. Yeah, let's see if that works with 1. So now we've got our list item. I'm going to go into our list item CSS. I'm going to say our list item is going to have a very nice background color as well. Let me go have a look at what we've got in our lovely color palette. I'm thinking we're going to go, I don't know, I think this is a nice, ooh. Let's stay blue, you know, let's stay this nice little blue. And let's do background color. And let's give it a nice kind of beige background color, not beige, sky blue background color. Do you guys still want to hear the Blahaj story, by the way? You know, I'm happy to do it. I know we skipped it earlier. If you still want to hear it, let me know in chat and I will do it. Border radius. Just can't really do it at the same time as talking, that's the problem. We're gonna do padding, there's also gonna be 1EM. Blahaj story so you can catch up. Rest of chat, should we do Blahaj story? Let's make it nice 1A, 1A, 1A. And you know what, I'm gonna make, let's use the same font which will already be imported, and this is always gonna be rendered inside, which makes life easy. So let's go into list.css. And let's grab balsamic, which is what we're using here. Cool. So, the Blahaj story. We're going to take a break from programming for a second, and I'll tell you the Blahaj story. So, Blahaj is a big story, so hang tight. This is going to take a little while. So, in case you're not sure why we take this break, this is Blahaj. He's my best friend. This Blahaj is actually not from Canada. In fact, no, this Blahaj is from Canada, actually. But Canada 2 years ago. I've lived in the UK since then. So basically, let me tell you the story. Let me make it so you can unlock them down as well. A guy can release a Blahage book. So Aaron's gonna catch up. But long story short is I met Blahage a long time ago. In a long, no, I'm kidding. So I was in Canada for my year abroad. It was back in the 2018 to 2019 academic year. He is so soft, we love him. And basically, I had moved to Canada, and in Canada, you have to buy your own furniture for your student apartment. In the UK, it's all provided, in Canada, it's not. And so I had just flown to Canada, I'd never been to Canada before. I was like, IKEA, that's fine. And I was like, hey, you know, my dad had flown over with me because I can't drive. I was like, let's go to IKEA, let's get all the stuff, move it into my apartment, it'll be great. And my dad was like, hey, you know, I'll help you pay for this. You know, I actually do love you sometimes. And so, Adam, I'll give you screen share in a second. So it's like, you know, we went to IKEA and we went round. You can't drive? No, I've never had a reason to need to drive. So we went around IKEA. We got loads of furniture. There was probably like $1,500 of furniture in it at this point. And I was like, in the child's section. As a child, this is where I tend to be. And I saw this glorious creature. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny for me to slip this into the car and get my dad to pay for it without him realizing? Now, it's quite difficult to do. As you may have noticed, he's a 1 meter long shark. I managed. So we get through to checkout. My dad does not notice the fact there is a 1 meter long shark on the IKEA checkout. You may think this is where the story ends. So we drive all the way back to London, Ontario, and which is not the most cool place ever. We drive back all the way to London, Ontario, and when we get there, we move into my apartment we hadn't visited yet. It's cool. But before I can move in, I have to stay a night in a hotel. And, you know, I'd booked the hotel, it was great, we had somewhere to stay, but my dad had this truck we'd rented. And my dad came back, and I'm going to make sure I've got this info tab closed so you can't see everything. But I thought it would be funny to go down to the truck we'd rented and put Blahage in the driver's seat in the middle of the night. So when my dad went down the next morning before I was awake, he would see this. Go screen share again so you can see. He would see this. So my dad, my poor dad, who'd done me a huge favour, got back to his apartment and he saw this glorious creature. And he was like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, that's Blahage. He's my new best friend. And he was like, it's a shark. And I'm like, no, it's Blahage. We love Blahage. Like, this isn't how this works, Dad. Like, you know, this is my child. Like, come on, get with it. And so you may think this story is going to end here, but no, it doesn't quite yet, because I wasn't in Canada forever. I was in Canada for 8 months. And I had to get Blahage home. Now, I could only take 2 suitcases on the plane home. And the problem I had was the fact that Blahage is rather large. This is also a Blahage. Yes, this is a Blahage shelf. This is where we keep them. And I had to get Blahage all the way home back to the UK. Now, I couldn't fit him in my backpack, and I obviously couldn't fit him in anywhere. And I actually forgot to pack him, which was very unideal, because that is just horrific. So poor Blahage had to go all the way back home, vacuum packed, in my backpack. So I was carrying this in my backpack all the way home. And I get to airport security, and I take it out, and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, it's Blahage. And they're like, what's in him? And I'm like, he's a shark. There's nothing in him. Like, come on, he's Blahage. And they're like, okay. They look at me like, they x-ray this shark very, very carefully. There was nothing in him. He's just Blahage. I get him through, you know, get him home, move back, Blahage is home. Cool. The story still doesn't end yet. Me and my friend Will, who if you've ever done anything with the MLH Fellowship, you may know. Not Will that was on stream last night, Will Russell. We're going on a trip to Copenhagen back in March. Will doesn't travel very often, and as a responsible and lovely and very, very loving best friend, I thought it would be funny to troll Will. This is part 2 of the story after how I told Will, after I legally changed Will's name without telling him. That also happened. I think that was quite funny. But the other part of the story was me and Will went to Copenhagen. Copenhagen is in Denmark. Now, Copenhagen is also next door to Sweden. And what is from Sweden? IKEA is from Sweden. And so what we did is, while we're in Copenhagen, this is Will, if you've not met him before, as you can see, he's very happy to be in Copenhagen with me. You know, have you ever seen such a happy face in your life? It's like, seriously, he was so happy with me. We'd flown to Copenhagen. We went and, you know, went round places. Robbie, another coach I met, got bored and flew out to see us. And we're on an adventure. And then me and Will go to IKEA. And while I'm talking, I'm desperately trying to find the album with what happened next in it. Yeah, there's lots of Blahages. Is this the album? I'm trying so hard to find this album for you. Where is it? I surely have it. Where have I put this album? Where do I find shares? Oh, I found it. Okay, so me and Will are in a different country. We've gone to IKEA, and this is what happens. You know, I'm like, Will, we've got to get an authentic Swedish Blahage. And as a responsible adult, I had to do what was only right, and that was have lunch in an IKEA restaurant with a Blahage. And I'm like, Will, we can't leave a Blahage now. We've gone on an adventure. We've done really fun things together. Like, we've had a great time. We've loved it. And, like, we need to take him home. Like, we can't leave him. He'd be sad. To which Will did what he normally does to me, and he looks at me very unimpressed, but ultimately says yes. So, what happens next? Well, we get the Blahage. Remember, we're not even in Copenhagen right now. We then go on the train back from Sweden to Denmark. We stay and enjoy our trip in Copenhagen for a couple more days. We accidentally managed to get a £300 Lime scooter build because I did not understand the pricing great. But then it became time to fly home. And there's a little bit of foreshadowing here, because you might have realised that I mentioned earlier the fact that it was difficult to get a Blahage through the first time. And so we have to go and get Blahage back home. And this, let me tell you this story. So we get to the line, we get to the airport line. And this is what it looked like. Will has got his backpack, Will has got his Blahage. This is after I told Will that he had to take everything out of his backpack to get through airport security. So we literally emptied the entire thing and Blahage went through like the little kind of conveyor belt as a ride, which Will was very happy about, as you can tell by his face. And then the lovely woman from EasyJet, the gate agent, comes over and she's like, you need to check that. You need to check that shark. And I'm like, but like, you're gonna have to pay that. It's an extra bag. You're gonna have to pay for an extra bag. And I look at this EasyJet gate agent and I'm like, no, he's not an extra bag. He's a shark. Like, what do you mean? There is fees for extra bags, absolutely. But there is no fees for bringing a shark on board. Like, I've checked. Sharks do not get charged extra fees. And, you know, EasyJet woman looks at me and she's like, very confused. And then she just walks away. So Will was like, already like, what the hell, Jack? You know, this is what's going through his mind. He's like, this isn't great. This is what happened next. Will becomes very, very happy that we've managed to get this Blahage through. We then, he's like, I get it through. At which point Will realizes, oh crap, I now have to bring this on the plane with me. So here is Blahage, here is Will, who's another MLH if you didn't catch that earlier, looking very annoyed at me. Here is what happens next. We get on the plane, and I think the man's face on this photo says everything. We put the Blahage in the overhead locker. We have to take, everyone was laughing because we're taking this giant shark on, and this man is just like, what the hell? We get back home, and Blahage, you know, survives the trip. He's okay, don't worry. At which point Will's train home gets cancelled, and he has to take Blahage on a 2.5-hour bus all the way home. He ultimately gets given to his girlfriend as a present, and Blahage gets united with his new family, and that is the story of behind Blahage. Since then, I've been campaigning for Blahage internally at MLH because everybody needs Blahage. And so I hope you enjoyed that story. We can get back to coding now. But that is the story of Blahage. If your image doesn't show up on your app, any suggestions is using a relative path as a source. Okay, if you're building with React, you're going to have problems with that. Make sure it's in a public folder and just Google React static images. It's a little bit kind of interesting how it works, you'd be surprised. You could have told him it's a pillow or something. Yeah, but he's not a pillow, he's a shark. Like, come on, get with it. Yeah, so woohoo, go Blahaj, we love Blahaj. Like, Blahaj is absolutely great. Okay, so we've got our app. Let's keep going with this. We're gonna say the font size is gonna be 1.2. I'm gonna make this quite big, because Ryan likes it big. Not like that. So there we go, we've got this, tick box. Let me try. Let's just go into list item and let me just see if I put an emoji in there, what it looks like. So it's gonna be like a checkbox. I'm just trying to work out spacing for a second. I want a Blahaj. Yes, I also want a Blahaj. We all love Blahaj. This is probably gonna be big enough, I think. So what this is gonna do, the cool thing is I can go into our list.js. I can just kind of copy this and it'll make multiple, which means I can go and say, hey, we need to have a margin bottom of 1 EM between them. Otherwise this is gonna be really difficult. Actually 0.5 is probably fine. Cool. So this is gonna be our to-do list of things we need to troll Ryan with. We're gonna probably need a some kind of box as well, but we'll deal with that now. Why does your call not work? You probably didn't import it. On your list, make sure you've imported it from React Bootstrap. If you like tab complete it won't work. If you click it, VS Code should auto import, I think. Okay, so we've got this. Next up, I need to go and set these up. So I need to go and say, hey, we're gonna say item is equal to, we're just gonna say, send Ryan a Blahaj. And then I can just make this self-closing, is kind of my plan. So we're gonna say, hey, we're gonna say this is send Ryan a Blahaj. We're gonna say, this is gonna be item equals heckle Ryan on stream when he is concentrating. Friends, I need like better ways of trolling Ryan. Come on, help me out here. What other ways of trolling Ryan are there? There is item equal pretend he doesn't exist when he needs something urgently. Have fun at EST Tech Cheese. Have a great time. You're awesome and you're amazing. So there we go. And finally, we're gonna say we'll get rid of this last list item. We'll come back to this because we're gonna make this interactive. And so now it still says item name because we're not pulling this yet. But if you go into list item, what I can do is I can accept props here. And then I set it to item, so I can say props.item is gonna be our text, which now means our text appears, which is awesome. Now, we have done that. Next up, what we need to do is make a way of adding these in the front end. We'll deal with the actual functionality to kind of set them as done shortly. Now, I'll be honest, I'm doing this live and I can't quite remember how to do this. So what I want to do is I want to do React Bootstrap form input. In fact, no, for now, just for the sake of making my life a bit easier, I'm just going to make an input, just a normal HTML input. So I'm going to do input and I'm going to do, I think this will just render a box, right? Yeah. I'm going to do input with a class name of a list input. And this is where you're gonna be able to type in the ways you want to troll Ryan. So let's go back to list.css and let's say, we're gonna say our list input is gonna be full width because that'll make life look better. We're gonna give it a nice same border radius for the sake of design being right, of 8 pixels. Props, I'll explain in just a second, don't worry. I know I've not explained that yet. We're gonna say its font size is gonna be 1.2 EM just for the sake of making it look good. And it's gonna have a margin bottom, probably of 1 EM. Yeah, margin top we'll give 0.5 EM just for the sake of making it decent. And okay, I'm going to give it some padding. Let's say its padding is 1 EM too. Cool. So this is a nice thing. And then we can go back to our list and we can go and say placeholder equals to type a new troll here. And so now, if, ooh, that didn't like it. What did you not like there, friend? Oh, I messed up something. Whoops, there we go. Placeholder equals type a new troll here. Cool. So if I now do this, there we go. I'll say type a new troll here by default, blah, 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 blah. Now props, anything you type here on a component, so like your parameters effectively of your component, get passed as props. So as long as your list item takes, it's gonna be like a function, and it like takes one parameter, which is props, then you can access all the data that you put in here. So if I have one called item, I can do props.item to get the contents. If I have props.name, I could do like, if I had one called name here, it would work, right? What bracket is it for props? It is curly brackets. And that is how we get this data in. So, next up, what we need to do is, we need to kind of get a way of getting data in. So let me have a think. What is the best way of us getting this data in? I think we probably need to store things in state. So let's have a Google. Let's Google React functions state. Now state is basically something that can change. And so if something can change, we want to make sure we are kind of making it updatable. You gotta learn React, don't worry. It's super difficult, like it took me forever to get to here and I don't even know that much. So we're gonna go and make it so we can use state from React, first of all. And then I'm gonna make a new bit of state, which I'm just copy pasting because that's totally fine. And this state is gonna be called trolls, and it's gonna be set trolls. So this basically is a getter and a setter. If you've ever done Java before, this is exactly the same concept. It's just a way for us to set and get data. It's nothing actually particularly fancy. And so it's basically saying, hey, we're making a variable and a function, and this variable is gonna store this. This function is gonna update this. And basically React will then, if we do this, we'll watch that. And then if it changes, it means that we can do stuff. Let me show you list items again. Here you go. Nothing super fancy. So we've done that. We're gonna go and head back to our React app. So that Adam can keep up to date, what I'm gonna do, yeah, it's just a tick box emoji for now. So everyone can keep up to date. I'm gonna go and commit what I've got so far. I'm gonna add this to my ignore, not package lock. Where's what I wanna ignore? Is there anything I need to ignore here? Let's ignore yes link cached. You probably don't need that. And I think everything else is okay. Probably. Why is that not ignored? Ignore. Whatever. Whatever. We'll just go say stage all. Sometimes it doesn't work. I'm just gonna say what I've done so far in this workshop. I'll show you how to do props in a second. So I'm just gonna upload this, and so you can have a dig through for React code I've got so far on GitHub. And that way it just means that you don't have to worry about following along quite in real time. But basically, almost definitely, you forgot to put the props in the list item in between these two brackets, if I had to guess. And so now if I do /JackBiggin/ let's troll Ryan, hopefully this code, here you go. Here is all the code I've done so far. It's on this Git repo, so you can go and look at it all. So we've got this. We're now gonna go and, we've got all of this list, but this is just static components. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and store these into a, how do I explain this? We're gonna store these in like a value, so these are dynamic. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, just kind of say set trolls equal to this, and I'm just gonna this is super simple. All I'm doing is putting exactly this text, and I'm just throwing it into an array or an object, which we can use. But, should we use an array? Let's use an array, it's probably easier. Because I don't think we're gonna have multiple parameters, because we'll just remove it when it's done. I'm just gonna say, got this one on our object, we've got heckle Ryan when he's concentrating. So I can make a list about checkboxes, and it does, and you can make a list about checkboxes super easy. We've already made a list about checkboxes. The checkbox is just an emoji. It's just a placeholder for now until we actually code in the checkboxes. So yeah, it's super easy. Creating an object. I was originally going to make an object, like a JavaScript object that stores everything. So it's like going to be like JSON effectively. But I think we're only going to be storing one kind of thing. So just a array or a list if you've Python before effectively. It's probably a better fit here, I think. Why did that not work? Oh, set trolls. And I want to do it like this because this is a function. Does that work? What have I done wrong? I've done something wrong here. Let me just pull up an example real quick because I just don't want to mess this up. This is super easy to do. Tell you what, for now, I'm just going to set this to in here. All we're doing is giving it some data, basically. This isn't actually fancy data yet. If you're making a list and stuff, you do need to use CSS. If it doesn't, like, use state, Adam, chances are you forgot to import use state. Yeah, if you want it to look nice, you use CSS. If you just want it to, like, be a default page, you don't need to. It's kind of the way I'd put it. So we've got this. And now, what I'm going to Google is map array to component React, which is a really, really useful thing that we can do. So what we can do is we can say, and I'm acutely aware that this could break things. And if it does, we'll deal with that. We'll do const list items. That's gonna look confusing. Items is equal to, we're gonna say trolls.map. And it's gonna be, how do I do this? I'm trying to think. It's gonna be a troll in trolls. Hang on, bear with friends. I'm just gonna think in my mind. Yeah, it's square brackets for this, just because it doesn't technically need to be. It's just I want an object, an array instead of an object. So I need to map something, and I'm gonna map. How do I put a component? That's what I'm trying to work out how to do. This is what I'm doing. So it's gonna be troll, and for each troll, yeah. So for each troll, this lets us do something effectively, and so. Boom. What have I done wrong there? I've done something wrong. What have I done? I've definitely done something. Why is it not liking this? Expression expected. Oh, do I just need to do... Yes, okay. Because it was not empty. You want to use just square brackets for this. It's normal brackets and square brackets. Okay, so I've got my thing, and I'm going to go and just create a... So items is going to equal the output of this. We're going to do return. We're going to just do a temp equals to. I'm really not sure how to do this. Bear with friends. I'm just trying to think of a sense. There's like multiple ways of doing it basically, and I'm trying to think of a sensible way. Let's do it inline actually. So what we can do is we can actually do default actual JavaScript here, just by doing curly brackets. And anything we do in here will get outputted as JavaScript. It depends on what I'm using, Adam. I'll say which brackets I use though, yes. So we're gonna do curly brackets, and we're gonna say const items, troll map, and each one I wanna map to a list item with the item name equal to trolls troll. I don't know if that'll work or not. I'm genuinely not sure, actually. That's not going to work. So let me just kind of set this to just a string real quick. What have I done wrong? I'm doing something wrong here. Yes, so for an array you use this, for an object, for I use square brackets, for an object you use curly brackets. Trolls is just a simple array in this case, absolutely. Okay, so I've got this. What am I doing? I'm doing something stupid here. I'm just going to copy paste the example. Because that's much more sensible. And it still doesn't like it. Why does it not like it? What am I doing wrong? Have I messed something up here? Why does this think it's closing? Ah. No. This should work. Why is this bugging out? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Long story short, friends, bear with me. I'm just trying to work out. I've done something stupid here, and I'm just trying to work out what I've done that's stupid. Because it's super... Ah, that's what I've done. Okay, let me just grab this. Let me just do this inline real quick. I'm just testing stuff out. I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. I'm just trying to work out why this is erroring out. Like, this shouldn't have a squiggly line. I mean, Adam, I can't... I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Why is this... React expression expect. This should work. I'm pretty sure this should work. What if I just get rid of this for a second? Okay, it still errors out. I feel like something is indented here, and I'm like not indented. I'm sorry, I don't know if that diff has sense. What do you mean, person? It shouldn't, like, this should be accessible. But I'm actually not trying to do anything like that at the moment. I'm just trying to like if I do just print or console.log, this is a test. I just want to check this is running. I'm just trying to work out like what's going on here. Unexpected token. Interesting. Okay. I wonder if it's not liking... That's fun. Ah, okay, cool. I wonder if it doesn't like semicolons, which is strange. It used to be fine. So that's not being... Ah, it is being output. Okay. That's good. This is not set and not used. That's normal. Okay, I know what I was doing, I think. So let me pull back to this example. Let me just try setting a constant real quick. I'm just gonna say, how do I not be stupid here? How do I not be very stupid? Let's say, const items, please don't bug out on me, equals test. I don't, like, I'm not even trying to use scope here. That's what I'm so confused about. Like, this should just work. Okay, so that's working. That's working, okay. So, yeah, this is the struggle of like live programming, friends. Sometimes things don't quite work as expected, but bear with, we're gonna get through this. If I just do, okay, so I can just return output there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna calculate this before. So let's do, I'm just gonna find a good way of doing a list of components. Rendering array of data. This is, I think, what I'm probably after. Using array map to dynamically generate items. I want a nice, simple example. Now, the problem with React is there's two different ways of doing React. There's functional React, and there is like class-based React. I am using function-based React, which is rather annoyingly the slightly newer version. And so if you go on Stack Overflow for stuff, you tend to get the old way of doing things. Which is kind of one of the issues I'm running into when I'm Googling stuff. You may see it looking like I'm finding like an obvious way of doing things. That's not wrong as such, but it's the issue I'm having is more so that it's correct, but not for this use case. So if I just plop this in, does this work? Okay, so this works. Oh, I missed half of it. I want to just get this list of items, and I just literally want to generate an output. Okay, that's working, cool. So we're gonna do list items. Instead of mapping numbers, we're gonna map trolls. I'm gonna say for each troll, and that's turned blue, so that's picked it up. So each troll is gonna be a, it's gonna be a list item, and it's gonna have a key of, ooh. Can I just set the key to that? And then I'm gonna say item equal troll. That might not work. It might want a numerical key. If it does, we'll come back to that. And then we'll just go and make that self-closing. Thank you, chat, for being super supportive. I super appreciate it. So now I think I can probably just output list items there. I think. Yes, cool. So I can get rid of these. So basically, just to explain what's going on here, this list is now just this code, and it's generated up here. So if I edit this and I say cry, for example, because that's what I felt like crying just then, it will just magically like add it, which means we can do cool stuff. So what I can do is I can make a really quick function. It's going to be add to, how do I do this? Add to trolls, let's just say. And I'm just going to take a single troll. I'm just going to say set trolls to trolls. How do I append? JavaScript append to array. I can never remember how to do this. Dot push. Yes. Okay. So we can do just trolls dot push. Wait, what does it actually return? It returns the new length. I don't want a new length. I want. I don't. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this into like 2 bits of code because I want to split it to make it clear. So we're gonna say current trolls is gonna equal to trolls, which I know is kind of redundant, but I don't want to manually set trolls, but I want to set current trolls effectively. And then I want to do current trolls dot append, was it? Dot push. And I want to go and add this. And then the reason why I'm not going to edit this original one directly is because I need to be able to go and tell it, hey, state, I need you to set this. And effectively, if we don't do it this way, things break pretty bad. If I refresh, does that die? Yes, it has died because current trolls is not defined because I need to say const current trolls is equal to trolls. Bazinga. Okay, so that's done. We've got this, we've got current trolls, we're going to set trolls. Now let me just go and give us a button to just kind of demonstrate what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to say button. So just add test troll. And what this is going to do is on click. So when I click this button, I want it to, I can never remember this syntax. Is that it? On click, arrow function, react. I think it's that syntax. Just give me a second, friends. I just don't want to make sure I've got this wrong. Yes, cool. And we can say I want to, when we've done that, I want to add to trolls. And I'm going to just add a test troll. And hopefully that renders. I bet it's not going to because I accidentally got rid of that at the end. So now if I refresh, I can click add test troll. And if I go and it's not updating real time yet, bear with. Are you accessing state of the hook? I believe I am, yes. I just want to make sure I've pulled this data properly. So let me just zoom out real quick. So if I go to my list in the state, yeah, you can see here when I press this, you might not be able to see, it's quite small, but it adds a test one here. They are unique, so it'll like not quite work as you expect. But if I add something here, it works. I can just say like test. And so right now it's not going to re-render because list items isn't stored in state. So what I need to do is I need to say like const list items and set list items is equal to use state, and this is just a empty, it's just a list again, I think. And so let me just do that. Doesn't add for you, Adam, in a second I'll throw it on Git, bear with. And so this has already been declared, that's expected. So I'm gonna say temp list, because right now, you know, we are just kind of doing things in a dumb way. We are not gonna be doing that forever. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say set list items. Bear with, friends, bear with. So this code basically runs every time it re-renders, I believe. And I'm trying to just work out the sensible place to put this. Because there's like few different options, and I don't want to be doing this in a way that doesn't really make sense, obviously. Let me just get rid of this for a second. And I'll explain what I'm doing in a second, everybody. Just give me a sec. Because I'm just trying to go through my head and just work out my plan. Because believe it or not, this is not like pre-rehearsed. It is kind of on the fly, for real. List items isn't defined. Yes, of course it's not. That is now, so that's just render. So the issue I'm having is this renders fine and this is using state. So this is pulling from state. When I add this, it's adding it, but it doesn't appear to be updating. So it is updating state, but it's not causing a reload. So React hooks state change not causing, yeah, here we go. Someone's Googled this a lot. So what have I done wrong? So we can say const update array is equal to ... array. Interesting. Where have they done that? Update array is equal to, I'm curious. I don't quite understand what this code is doing, but I want to understand it. So let's just try replacing this with .trolls. This is basically making a slice, which means it's probably a separate copy, I think. Boom, okay. So because it's making a copy, it's now updating in real time, okay? So maybe, maybe if you call list items off state, yeah, effectively, like, list items is kind of not stored in state, but kind of is. So the content of list items is stored in state. And so basically when this updates, this will also update, and this updates this, which then updates this, if that makes sense. So like we're never updating like list items itself. It's always the this updates it, which then kind of causes this to update because of how React works. So I'm gonna go and git commit what we've got so far. So we just do stage and then changes. So if you go to the Git repo, if you're following along, you should be able to see what I've got now. So now we can add a test troll. That works great. We can add it to the list. The next thing I want to do is make it so I can add the contents of this box to the list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and say, I'm going to do an add new troll, and let me just Google React using input. As a developer, you're going to use like Google a lot, by the way. It is totally fine for us to do that. Wait, what git commands did I do? I used git kraken, which is a really nice UI for it, and I just did this and I pressed push. Which means I don't have to like worry about the commands on the fly, it just gives me a button to do it. I really recommend git kraken, it's awesome. So this is how we handle this class-wise. I don't want to handle it really. Yeah, effectively, the reason, person chatting that, I believe, I might be wrong here, just to kind of give you the disclaimer here. The reason I believe it wasn't working is the difference between a shallow copy and a deep copy, and I don't know JavaScript well enough to know if that is actually what the cause. But I think because I was setting it to equal to trolls, it was literally equal to trolls. So if I changed current trolls, it would also change current trolls. If it changed current trolls, it would also change trolls, sorry. Which we didn't want, because that would cause React to just break, effectively. This basically says get the content of trolls, but a new copy of it. And so it means that we're not updating the real thing, which kind of helps. Oh, yeah, the dinner is gone. We are still going. It's good to see you again. So now we can add to our list. Let me go and... create this form input so it works. This is super ugly. We're going to say... How do we best do this? So here we go. We're going to create an input, and on the change, when things change, we need to set troll. So what we're doing is, instead of storing the contents of this input, basically, are going to get stored actually inside of our like state, rather than just pulling it from the page. Which means as you type, it's updating in real time, which is great for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to say the value is equal to new troll, and on change, we want to go and set new troll. This looks familiar. It's very similar to how we use list items as well. So we're going to say set new troll, and then just like before, we're just going to go and you're going to create a new thing of use state. So we're going to say const new troll, const new troll, set new troll, and this is going to be just a string that uses state. Bazinga. Okay, so right now this isn't doing anything, but let me just kind of show you what it's kind of doing in the background that you can't see. So if I do this, test troll works, this doesn't do anything if I add anything here. But in practice, what I can do is if I inspect this and I show you my components, on list, as I type in here, you'll see the state. I don't know if you actually can see it, but if it was big enough, maybe if I make it a bit bigger. Here, as I type in here, you'll see that state updates. And so it means we're saving stuff, which is super awesome. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to make it so this is 2 columns. What did you miss? You left 5 minutes, not return. We just got things working and we recommit to Git to kind of keep track of stuff. So now we've got this done. we're going to go and add some columns here. So let's go and say, hey, this input is going to be in a row and in a column, because we have to put columns in a row for them to work. It's got our row. In that row, we have a column, which is on extra small screens, so on phones is all the way wide, but on anything bigger than that is going to be, we're going to say, let's say 8 wide. No, probably a bit big, probably 9 wide. And then we're going to have that, and then underneath we're going to have another one which is full, but then one that is 3 wide. So this is just, you know, here is our column. We're going to go and put our input into our first column. Just going to just pop that in there. That input's probably possible to be self-closing as well, which is nice. Boom. Save that. And then we're going to go, and on the other side, we're going to get our button. And we're going to say calls button. And that's going to be there. Now that's a super ugly button, so let's make it a bit of a nice looking button. We're going to use a bootstrap button this time. And that broke everything, because of course it did, because I forgot to change the end as well. And instead of adding test troll, we're going to just add a new troll. You can say add troll. What can we not set the property of? What did I break? What's it not liked? Sorry, what is the array on lines 8 through 10 of the original trolls array? So this array is just, this is the kind of data which gets rendered on our page. Let me just undo this real quick, because I just broke it all. So what this is, this array is what powers this data. And it's in our state, so if this changes, so if we press this, this will change this, effectively, it'll add a thing. If this changes, this updates in real time. And that's a really cool thing about React, is you can basically tell it to watch things, and as it watches things, it'll update. Okay, so we got this. I just want to try making this button just from scratch, because it looks like something went a bit weird. You can say button, test. It's really not wanting to render a button. It's really strange. Oh, it's trying to pull it from Bootstrap, not React Bootstrap. That explains it. It shouldn't do that. It should go from React Bootstrap. I need to pull it from here, not Bootstrap. There we go. That's better. So we got a button here now. The import code for the button is just you've got your React import, just add button to it basically. And so we've got button test, and I'm gonna go and pull up React Bootstrap docs for buttons, because I want to make sure I'm doing this right. I want to go and make it full width, and also want to make it large. So I'm going to say size equals LG, and also it's going to be block level, so we just say block. And that basically means it will fill everything out, which is super nice for us. Cool. Now it's not quite the right size, so let's go and fix that. So we're going to give it a class name as well. We can give our components class names, which is nice. Class name equals... Oh, can we actually? I think we can. Class name equals submit button. You think you crashed it? You got this site can't be reached. What did you crash? Your own website or your actual thing? It'll tell you in your console what you did wrong. I can't guarantee it will actually be helpful, but it will tell you what you did wrong. Submit button. Does this work? I'm really curious. If I just set its height to 400 pixels. Yes, okay, cool, it does work. So we're going to say the font size is going to be 1.2 EM because that's what we're using. The margin top is going to be 0.5, just like the one below. Sorry, not minus 0.5, 0.5. And then the padding, just like the other one, is going to be 1 EM. So now they're nice and in line, which is super nice. And we're going to change the test text to submit, or just add troll, let's say. So we're going to type thing here, we're going to click here, and it's going to add it. So we're then going to steal this code. We've not done the easy bit, the hard bit yet, friends. Hang in there. We're going to get through this. Officially, we're supposed to run in 15 minutes, but screw that. We're going to get this built. We're only going to get the front end done, but we're going to do it. So now if I click this, it will add a troll, but we want to add it what's said in here. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go and say on click, I want to go and I just want to make sure this works as it should. I think it should do. Just double check. Yes, that still works. Cool. Only thing you're following here for CSS? Honestly, that's fine. Like, honestly, I can hear for the memes as well. So if you want to, like, shout memes at me, let me know. So we're going to add to trolls. I'm going to say we're going to add to trolls whatever is in... where are we storing trolls? Is it new troll? Yes, we're going to say add new troll. So I think now if we put something like here and click add troll, anything we add here, see, will appear down here, which is awesome. Except for the fact it doesn't clear this. So what we want to do is we want to go and check how to do this. And so I think all we got to do is say, we're going to do this, followed by set add troll to just be an empty string. And that didn't work. Oh, sorry, set new troll. So I do test and do this. And now, look, because this is tied to state, because the contents of this are literally being written to new troll, if we just set new troll to equal to nothing, then this will disappear as well. So now we have a list where you can add things. You can say like, I love Ryan, and then do add troll, and it will appear on our list. Now that's great. But there is one final hurdle we haven't yet done. And that is making it so we can remove trolls when we've done them, when we've ticked them off our list. And so to do that, what I need to do is I need to go into list item and I need to go and say, what should we use here? I don't know, should we make it literal checkbox? Not sure. Let me have a look. What have we got? We've got, do I have like React Bootstrap checkbox? What was the last thing? I honestly can't quite remember, Adam. Oh, here. It's, I did an on-click on the button and made it be equal to that. So let me have a look. Does React Bootstrap have a nice checkbox we can use? It does. I love that. So we're going to go and steal the checkbox from React Bootstrap. And so we're going to say, instead of this checkbox emoji, we're going to make it, where is it? So my list item is here. And it's going to be, how do I set new troll to nothing? I literally just set it to quotes with nothing inside them. So set new troll, and then brackets, and then just quote. So yeah, that's kind of how I did it. So removing is going to be like this. We're going to go and get rid of this, make it an actual proper bit of CSS. It's going to be form.input, I think. I honestly can't remember. Dooba-dooba-dooba-dooba-doo. Where did I put these docs? They've gone. There we go. So we're going to do form.control. Where is it? Form.check, that's it. I am going to need to import form, but that's fine. Type is equal to checkbox. Now, there's a little annoying thing with CSS. As far as I know, you can't control the size of text box in a sensible way. But there is a workaround, which I'm going to show you. And so let's do form, and I think, yes, we now have a wonderful little set of checkboxes, but they're super, super small. Did you make set new troll exist, Adam? It's got to exist up here. I'll recommit to get for you. Here you go. Just so you can stay on track. So, we have got this. We've got this working. We're going to go and change our CSS. So our list item. And it's going to be checkbox, I think. You probably did. It's super easy to mistype something. Don't worry. Here we go. This is how we do it. So it's input type equal checkbox. List. So list item followed by this. So basically an input that is inside it, and we want to transform. I want to scale it by 1.5. Let's say. Does that work? It's a bit small. Let's say 2.5. And this basically makes it bigger, which is nice. So we can like check these, they are real checkboxes. And we'll also add a margin left of way too much. 0.2 probably. 0.1 even. Huh, it seems to have just fixed itself. I think it had like a negative margin, possibly. Interesting. Don't know why setting margin 0 like that works, but it does. So, okay, we've got our little kind of checkboxes. We want them to, let's not remove them, actually. Let's go and make it so if it's checked, it changes color. That's more fun, I think. Because then we can like see our list of past trolls. Yeah, that to me sounds like a really, really fun idea. And so we might need to kind of factor how we've done this, but that's fine. So we're gonna say, hey, this list item, and we're gonna say, we're gonna have to like initialize this again. So let's go and copy paste this. And I'm gonna say is complete. We're gonna say set is complete. And we're gonna use state, and we're gonna set it to false by default. Oh, no, that should be indented. Use state is not defined because I need to go and import it from this other file as well. So let's go and do that. Okay, so we've got this list. We want to go and set this. And we're going to say, let's have a look. React, bootstrap, tie, checkbox, state. Let's just make sure we are kind of storing stuff in a sensible way. This is all ugly. This is not how I want to do it because I want to do it in a stateful way. So your status is equal to false. You want to, here we go. So value is this.state.status. So we've got, it's exactly the same as we did last time, you're getting this error. It's going to say invalid character, failed to execute, blah, 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 blah. Ooh. Are you following along live, VY, or are you like pulling my Git repo? I'm curious. Because I'm not quite sure what could be causing that, to be entirely honest. Your blue things have gone massive. Check your scaling. I used, I think, 2.5. Wait, your blue things? You mean these? What do you mean these? It's probably a CSS error. But I can't guarantee what CSS error, so bear with. Let me get this bit done first, and I'll go and take a look. So we've got this. Let's just clean this up. And I'm going to say form type is going to be checkbox, because of course it is. We're going to say its value. We should be saying a label here, but for this like quick hacky thing, we're not going to bother. We're going to say is complete, value is equal to is complete, because this is the kind of slightly older documentation where you have to do this.state blah 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 blah. And then finally we're going to say on change is equal to set is complete, I think is probably the best way for us to do that. Let me just check this message I just got real quick. Cool. So let's keep going. I'm just slightly wary that we just got a StreamYard email, so I'm just making sure no one's trying to get back on, but they're not. You're probably not able to check in because we're quite late into the event. I think you can only check in during the first hour. Don't worry, I can handle that in a little bit. I can handle a manual check-in, so sit tight. We'll work it out. So I'm gonna say on change, set is complete. I think I can do... Oh, this needs to be like an arrow function. So let's do, oops. I'm gonna say, why is it not liking me? So we're gonna say, this is gonna do, and set. So we're gonna do arrow function, and we're gonna set is complete to equal to not is complete. So basically it's gonna act as a toggle effectively. We'll go and review how trolls on sets get updated in just a second. Can you tell me what was before, what did it star out? Because I think it's a link, let me know. I'll show you CSS in a second, Adam, bear with. Although it should be on the Git repo by now. So we got, I just need to kind of get this before my head forgets. So we got this is gonna set this will literally toggle it. So in theory, okay, this is updating. I just want to make sure this is like updating and actually storing it effectively. So we go into components, and I've got a list item, and inside of it is a form check. Yes, okay, so as you can see here, so that prop is updating. Is it updating the state of my list item? False, true, awesome, I love that. That makes me happy. So now that works, let's go what people needed. So Adam needs to see CSS for list item. That's the CSS for list item. It is 3:30 a.m. Time goes fast, doesn't it, for you? Somewhere on the way, your CSS got really messed up. It's still love everything's hilariously at scale. Just make sure you didn't accidentally scale the list item itself is kind of what I would say. Make sure you're applying the scale on list item space input and then type equals checkbox. I'll put this line in a chat for you. Otherwise, you're literally scaling the entire item rather than just the checkbox. If I have to guess, that's probably what you've all done. And person chatting will say, sorry, can we review how trolls on state get updated by new troll after the state value? Yeah, of course. So, if I go here, in fact, I'll make it split again. Oh, on change, make sure you've not screwed up your curly brackets. So here is how the data kind of flows. This is our input. We type something in here. Now, in the background, as we type something in here, we are setting a variable called neutral. That's stored in our state. So we don't see that updated anywhere, but that is actually stored in the background. So this text we see is actually stored in state. And that's done by this on change. So we say, hey, when this changes, set neutral. So set the value of neutral, because that's what we've called this here. So set this to equal to, and this is just kind of fancy code for saying whatever is currently in the box. And now we also say the value of this is equal to neutral. So if neutral ever changes, it will get reflected here. So even if it changes in an entirely separate place, it will get updated. And so that's how this kind of does it. When you press this button, what this does is it says, hey, when we click this, first of all, I want to add to trolls, this new troll. So I want to go and run this code. So when I get our current trolls, I'm gonna get our new troll, add it to the end, and then this new list we've just created, set this trolls we have stored in state to equal to that. When this changes up here, because this is state, what it will do, React will go like, hey, this has changed. Okay, where is trolls used? Well, trolls is used here to map. So I need to go and remap these. So it will basically regenerate this list and it will add it onto the end. And then this list is stored in list items. And here in list items, you can see, we show that here, which is here. Now the cool thing about React is that it doesn't quite, I said it regenerates lists, but it doesn't quite. It will actually look for the new things and just add them to the end of the existing list. So anything that has changed in terms of state that's temporary won't actually get lost, which is super great. Okay, do you need another GitHub push? Okay, I'll give you another GitHub push. Adam asked for this. Here you go. When did it make the text input look so good? A little while back. It's not even that difficult to make it that look good, to be honest. So we've got this. We've got our list item, and we've got the checkbox stored. And now, I'm just going to do something kind of a little bit fancy here. And I'm going to do, I just want to make sure I don't screw this up. React conditional styles. Actually, no, let's just do, I think this works. If I just do styles is equal to, it's not styles, it's style, isn't it? Style, which is just a CSS thing. And I'm going to say, I'll show you in a second, Adam. I'm going to say style is equal to, If it is complete, nothing. Otherwise, this, so bear with, I'm just going to work out how this works. So I'm going to say background, color, red, important. Does this work? I'm just trying to basically lay this out. This is just temporary, so bear with. React set ternary in style. That's what I want. Basically, I'm doing something that's effectively a fancy if statement, and it basically checks this, and it lets us do some nice styles. It's a nice little thing. It's in JavaScript, but it saves a bit of code. I need to do... This is technically an object, isn't it? That's what I'm missing. So we're going to set this, and otherwise, say the background color. So we're going to actually set to green, because it's going to be ugly. We're going to say our background color is actually going to equal to red. I know that's important. I think that should work. We'll go find out. Let's come back to here. And I refresh. Okay, this isn't working as I expected it to. Obviously, I expected this to change. But let me just have a quick look at this list item and just see, is it getting anything? Okay, that's not updating. What am I doing wrong here? Tell you what, let me just print is complete into this real quick. I'm just trying to get like an idea of you know, what's going on here. You know, I need to be able to kind of tell if things are working. I wonder why that's not doing anything. It's been come out of sync. Okay, that should... Oh, I wonder if it's because it's... What if I do false? That will definitely break this. Yeah. But that should have broken that more. And I'm really, really curious about why that didn't. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do... I want to console... Every time I generate one of these, I'm going to log in my console is complete. Just because I want to see what's going on. So, got 3 falses. Now I've got a true. I've got 2 trues. Okay, so this is updating properly. Like, this is being stored. Cool. And so let's actually do this in a slightly hackier way. Let's just do const styles is equal to this. I'm going to say if is complete. We're going to say styles is equal to background color red. And otherwise, actually no, let's just do one line. So if it's complete, we're going to set it to green. And we'll literally just have that. And we're just going to say const styles is equal to nothing. Which means by default, this is just going to be like an empty bit of thing. So it's not going to apply anything. Now, I also want to just make sure I'm not doing anything conflicting with list and background and background color, but it looks like I'm using background color for both, which is good. So I think I should just be able to do style is equal to styles. And that didn't like it. Return is out of a function. It's not, is it? Oh, yes it is. Whoops. Green is not defined. Yes, that's technically a string, isn't it? Ooh, okay. So that's good. This code is definitely running. It's breaking it, but it's running. What's it not liking? Assignment to constant variable. Ah, I see. I need to make this so it's going to be updated. So we need to say styles is equal to let styles, because I want to be able to override it. There we go. So now if we tick it, it changes the background color, which is pretty cool. And so I'm actually going to make this a nice color now. And we're going to say when it's complete, we want to just kind of, we don't have a green. We'll just go turn it pink, I guess, because of quality. And we're going to say background color is equal to this. Cool. Yours is the same. Amazing. Let me just show you how the text input is done. Adam, since you asked so nicely on CSS, Blissful CSS. It's just, I give it the class of list input and I just set the width, I set the border radius, I set the font size and the margins and stuff. So yeah, if yours doesn't change color, you probably missed a bit of code, but I can't really tell you what. Now there is one more thing I want to do, but I'm not sure if we have time. And it's, I want it to sort the kind of list. So anything that's done goes to the bottom, but I don't think we can really easily do that. And the reason we can't is pretty much because how do I explain this? It's a pain because we need to pass data back up. So I think if you want to have a go at building this out yourself, the next thing I would say is you should try and push the data further up. And then after that, you should store and sync with the database. I'm not going to do that on stream. What I'm going to do is show you a nice little kind of CSS animation trick though. So what you can actually, do I want to show you this on stream? Because this breaks all the time. I'll show you like a simple version. I'm not going to animate it properly, but what we can actually do is we can say our list item. We can say, okay, let's make this fancy. So we're going to say transition is going to be 2 seconds, and it's going to ease in and out. So every transition we set now is going to change. The VOD, the data is gone, will be pretty much instant. And so I want to say, if I change the background color of this, I want it to fade. And that's now fades rather than doing it instantly, which looks a lot nicer. But I actually want to say also, if I hover over a list item, I want to go and scale it. Oh, sorry, transform. And I want to scale by 1.1. And so now if I hover over one of these, it will go bigger. Let's do 1.05, it's probably a bit nicer looking. So we can hover over these, it will go up, and then we can click it and it will change color, which is pretty nice. I do like that. You know, let's make it even more subtle. You know, you don't want like to go too overboard on animations, you just want it to kind of look like nice. That is pretty cool. But it's actually, we can also do other stuff. So CSS, animation, spin in circle. We can make it so, let's have a look. CSS, spin on hover. This is just like CSS, right? So I can say, let's forget this demo. Yes, we're gonna steal this. So we're gonna say, on hover of the image we have in app.css. So we've got an image, and that's stored in our header, right? So it's in header.css. Well, on header image hover, I want to go and transform by rotating it. And I need to go and also, there's a little bit I missed, and it's transition, there we go. It's when I run this transition, I want it to actually animate it, and I want it to take a little while. And so now, if I hover over Ryan Swift, it should, oh, whoops, header image even. I should go here. So now if I hover over Ryan, he'll spin around in a circle, because that's Ryan Swift. Yeah, this code will all be on GitHub, you can change whatever, like, you can do whatever. And then here we go. So we control Ryan, we can say we want to do something even cooler. We can say instead of just transform, we'll apply it to everything. And we'll say, we'll run a rotate, and we also want to scale by 1.1. We can make it so he zooms in as well. Oh, does that not work? How do you do multiple? There is a way of doing multiple. CSS, multiple, transform. There's definitely a way of doing multiple. You do it, you don't put a comma, that's what you do. So we can make him grow as well. So make him even bigger. We can say, hey, scale to 1.5. Right? The link to the code, the quick kind of reference I just used, the Stack Overflow answer for that kind of spin animation, is in chat right now. So yeah, it's just here, and it's just kind of, that's what, oh no, it's not. Well, that is, that'll work by actually a 360-degree rotate rather than just a little one. So yeah, there we go. That is Ryan Swift. That's Ryan Swift spinning around. You know, he still goes in, he still goes out. And that's pretty much, you know, that's pretty much kind of a workshop. There's tons you can kind of build towards on this. Obviously, this is a very simple starter app. You know, this isn't anything hugely fancy. You can use it for all sorts. Obviously, you can turn it into your own list. But, you know, the next kind of step would be to go and, you know, build more on this. So store the data, you know, make it so it sorts or its stuff is kind of stored properly. I'm going to commit again in just a second. I don't know if you had the code in, you almost definitely missed it, or you put something in the wrong place, if I had to guess. I'm going to go and commit the code I've just done right now, because this is kind of the end. We have reached time. We've actually gone 10 minutes over. So we go push this. And hang on if you need to check in, friends. I really, really hope you've all enjoyed this. It's been really, really great to teach you all. This is unfortunately pretty much my second last session of Local Hack Day. I'm not going to be here at the weekend because I'm coaching Hack for North. So if you're at Hack for North this weekend, I will see you there. I do have one more session tomorrow though, and that is going to be it's Hack for Technical Interview. So I'll just show you now. It's localhackday.mlh.io. If I head over there, it's going to basically be kind of some algorithms practice. I go to schedule. It's on tomorrow, and that is the 14th apparently. And it's going to be Hack for Technical Interview at 9 p.m. I've got to teach technical interviews at 9 p.m. Whoops. I should not have chosen that time. So I really, really hope you've enjoyed this. I'll see you hopefully then tomorrow. It's going to be awful timing for some of you. Great time for others. You know, sorry about that. We can't make it work for everybody. It is super, super late though. You are welcome to use any of the code which I've showed you. You know, you can switch it out for anything. You know, this is just a very quickly built app. So, you know, it's not going to be the best code ever, but you are welcome to use it for anything at all. I put the link in chat for you right now. So if you want to head over to the Git repo, I'm going to leave that public. I'll probably make it look a bit fancier as well. So I really, really hope that's good. You know, you've probably got a weird error. It's probably your packages. Make sure you are npm installing stuff. I didn't go and I think set that up properly. So you'll need to make sure on your end you are like npm installing kind of React and React Bootstrap. We didn't get to React Router in this session. Now React Router is if you wanted to add multiple pages. So like an admin panel and stuff, that's what you'd use that for. Obviously in this case, you know, we haven't used it because we only had one page. But you know, if you were building a multiple page one, you'd use that. Something else I use in terms of React is there is a framework called Next.js made by Versal, which is a hosting platform, which you might have heard of. It used to be called something else. And Next.js is super awesome because it will handle stuff like pages for you and styles and just stuff in a slightly more sensible way. It's built on React, but it's a little bit more difficult. So yeah. But with that, it's time for me to say bye and head towards bed. All hail Blahaj. We love Blahaj. And I really super appreciate you all coming. I do have to go and head to bed, unfortunately, now, because I do have work at 9 a.m. But I will see you hopefully tomorrow for technical interviews or at a future hackathon. Just to kind of give you an idea of my schedule of the hackathons I'm going to be going to coming up, in case you're going to be at them too. This weekend I'm at Hack for North. Next weekend I'm at Tech Together Seattle. The weekend after that I'm at CU Hacking. And then the weekend after that, I'm at UAuto Hack. I then have 2 weeks off. And then I have, I'm at Coos Hacks the week after that. And so I really, really hope you've enjoyed this. You've been awesome. I do like my kitchen. It is quite nice. And yeah, people who are having check-in errors, what I want you to do is I want you to put the bit of your email before the app sign-in chat. And what I'll do is I'll go and check you in manually right now, if I can remember how to do it. Let me go and pull up the password. I am not screen sharing all of MLH's password. You have it as background color. That's not fun. Don't set it wrong, Adam. It's super easy to do that though. Don't worry. We've all been there. We've all kind of banged our head against a brick wall and been like, how have I broken everything? I don't understand. And then you look and you're just like, oh, I screwed up. That explains everything. And so let me just sign in to our admin panel. The admin panel has an interesting login where it doesn't always work, so bear with friends. Go to hackathons, MLH.io, and the password, which I'm not going to read out loud because that would be very silly. And let me go get you all checked in. Is your first time seeing React? How did you find it? Vanilla is gone. Do you like it? I hope you do. Yeah, the first kind of part of your email, Gag. So like, if mine's like hi@jacqueline.dev, put hi in chat. If yours is like, yeah, you know what I mean? Just a bit before the @ sign. If you put the entire thing, it will like star it out. So don't put the entire thing, otherwise I can't see it. Yeah, I really like React. React's great. The nice thing about React as well, which we haven't touched on, and there is a thing called React Native, which means you can use exactly the same tech pretty much to build mobile apps, which I think is really, really, really cool. You know, you don't have to worry about kind of building separate things. You can kind of just compile it separately. We haven't talked about deploying, but if you are deploying, Versal and Netlify are great kind of tools to use to deploy to. They're both basically free hosting, which is pretty cool. Does it work for Windows? Yep, works for Windows. You can use that on pretty much anything. I presume if you had a smart toaster, you could probably code on that. Do I say you should? No, but you probably can. I'm just trying to find on my end the manual check-in link. So hold on, friends, and I'll head off air. local hack day, MLH. I'm going to need you to put the first part of your email in chat in the next 30 seconds if you need me to manually check you in, because I do kind of have to head off at some point. But yeah, I will happily manually check anyone in who got here a bit later and can't do it properly. I just have to find or I do it. Here we go. Project to achieve your New Year's resolutions. This was allegedly only supposed to run for an hour, and I'm like, Ryan Swift. Ryan, insert middle name here, but I don't know Swift. How would you like me to do that? Because this would never have been done in an hour. Yeah, I think Express is a cool one. I think Express is interesting. I've never really done much with it, to be honest, which is why we struggled on the first stream, but yeah. Garg, I'm gonna really, really need you in the next kind of second. I think I've probably found you. In fact, yeah, I found you, Garg. So I've checked you in. I found you. I've worked out your name. There you go. Yes, definitely check out React. React's awesome. You're all awesome. Coming up in local hack days, tons of cool stuff. So definitely stick around. It's time for me to head to bed. Have a great time. Keep checking Slack. Keep going with those challenges. I'm gonna leave you with an ad, and then after that, I'm gonna see you in a bit. So have a great time. You're all awesome. And thank you so much for joining me. Adam, your input will work if you go and take a look. Pull my code, have a mess around, see if, look at the errors and see what's going wrong. And if you can't work it out, I'll be in the mornings. Atul, I'll give you 30 more seconds. Let me see if I can find you. Atul, what is your surname? Oh, I found you. Never mind, Atul. You're checked in. You're done. Cool. Nice, everybody. I'll see you. I'll see you in a bit. We'll throw to an MLH promo and then have a great sleep. You're all awesome, and you're awesome. Bye, friends.
Hackathon is a weekend-long invention competition. Students show up on a Friday or Saturday, dream up a crazy idea like a website, a mobile app, or a robot, and then bring it to life over the course of a weekend and share it with their peers.
From Germany and Spain here that I was talking to earlier, people coming all over the world to come to these things.
We support tens of thousands of students at hundreds of universities to help them learn, build, and share brand new technology creations with the world.
It's like you always have these ideas and there's so much you can do, but until you come to Hackathon you don't realize you can actually do it.
For me, the most inspiring part is, the fact that sponsors are sending the engineers to come here and talk to us, and we can learn so much from them.
We always look out for the new talent, new entrepreneurs to build new businesses so that we can really help them in that.
Hackers who attend MLH events are not the type of hackers that you hear about on the news. They're not breaking into banks or stealing your credit card. These are people who love the process of creating technology.
The energy and the passion that they have, I think we all need to pitch in and give them a wonderful experience.
Just the amount of people that I've met through hackathons, the amount of super cool friends I've met that are also passionate about building stuff, about just making things and being creative.
This is my first one, jumping in deep into the pool, so yeah, I'm excited.
You come in and oftentimes you don't know what you're doing, right? And it's just the ability to learn on the spot, to meet people who can teach you, to figure out a way of solving a problem.
Don't feel pressured to have to create something. Just go for it, because the experience in itself is definitely worth it.